Okay, let's jump right in. We got that material from you looking at Superman versus Loki, a classic matchup.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the goal here isn't just who wins, right? It's about unpacking what your specific source says about their strengths, their strategies.
Exactly. We're sticking strictly to the analysis in the document you shared.
Yeah.
No outside info, just what this text lays out.
Right. And it paints quite a contrast between the two, focusing on how they might fight based on its own scenarios.
So let's start with Superman, as described in your text. It sounds like it emphasizes his, well, immense power.
Oh, absolutely. The document zeroes in on super strength and speed first. We're talking lifting planets, moving faster than light. That scale of power.
Okay, massive scale. And defensively.
Invulnerability is key in this description. It says he's basically immune to, bullets, missiles, most standard attacks mentioned in the source. He just tanks it.
Right, so incredibly tough. But the text you sent also gives him more than just being a brick, offensively speaking.
It details heat vision, X-ray vision, freeze breath. So versatile, long-range options beyond just punching things really hard.
And flight, too, which the source notes gives him, quote, great battlefield control. That makes sense.
Yeah, huge mobility advantage. Engage, disengage, attack from anywhere.
And the text even adds a bit about skill. Fast reflexes, some Kryptonian martial arts training mentioned.
It does touch on that. So the picture from your source is this incredibly powerful, durable, fast, versatile physical combatant with some actual fighting skill noted.
Okay, now let's pivot to Loki, based on that same material. A very different approach described, I gather.
Completely different. Yeah, the source doesn't frame him as a physical match for Superman at all.
So what are his main tools, according to this text?
Deception is front and center. Illusions and trickery are highlighted as core abilities, potent enough to fool even really powerful beings. That's presented as his main game.
Illusions and trickery.
Okay.
And that's backed up by his magic, right? What kind of magic does your source list?
It mentions things like teleportation, shape-shifting, energy manipulation, a pretty versatile magical toolkit. Makes him unpredictable, the document suggests.
Unpredictable. But it also seems like his intelligence is a big factor in this analysis.
Huge factor. The text explicitly calls him a master strategist and manipulator. So his mind, his planning, that's presented as maybe even more important than the magic itself.
Got it. Strategy over sorcery, almost. Although the source does note he has some durability and agility, too.
Yeah, it mentions he's tougher and quicker than, say, a regular human, just not on that Kryptonian level of invulnerability. He can take a hit, just not that kind of hit.
Okay, so the source sets up this contrast. Then it directly tackles the who would win question, using scenarios.
Yeah.
What about a straight-up fight? No tricks, just head-to-head.
In that scenario, the text is pretty clear-cut. It gives Superman the edge decisively because of the raw power, the speed, the durability. Loki likely loses that kind of direct slugfest, according to this analysis.
Right. Power wins out in a direct clash based on this source. But it doesn't stop there. It considers a different kind of fight.
Exactly. The trick-based or setup fight. And this is where the source says Loki actually has a chance.
How so? What does this text say he could do?
Well, it suggests he could potentially win through manipulation, setting complex traps, maybe faking a surrender, using a disguise, or messing with Superman's mind. It's all about outsmarting him.
Outsmarting him. But then the source throws in a complication, doesn't it? Right after mentioning mind tricks.
It does. It immediately adds the point that Superman is smart himself and, crucially, has resisted mind games before. That detail, coming from the same source, really puts a question mark over Loki's best bet.
Yeah, that's a significant counterpoint within the text itself. So bringing it all together, what's the final verdict from the material you provided?
The bottom line, according to this document, is that Superman probably wins most fights, especially direct ones. Loki's path to victory is described as slim, needing perfect planning and flawless execution of his tricks and deception.
It's power versus cunning, essentially. And the source gives the edge to power most of the time, but leaves that narrow window open for cunning if everything aligns just right for Loki.
Precisely. Which leaves us, and you, with a final thought based purely on this text. It specifically says Superman is smart and beats mind games. Does that single detail, as presented here, effectively shut down Loki's main strategy? Or does calling Loki a master strategist imply he might have ways around even that defense still within the logic of this source material? Something to chew on.